This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about what I'm calling Bitcoin's winter storm. One of the biggest functions of Bitcoin's drawdowns, like the one we're seeing right now, which has been quite brutal, is to help move the coins from weak hands to strong hands. Strong hands are the holders. They're the people who have actually put in the work, who understand what they own, who realize that Bitcoin is our only shot at freedom from the coming digital prison. It's not going to be dog coins. It's not going to be venture capitalist coins, VC coins, or coins run by oligarchs created by a giant pre-mine or pre-sale. So this movement of Bitcoin from weak hands to strong hands actually helps to make the entire Bitcoin ecosystem more anti-fragile and resilient and ready to survive the coming onslaughts from politicians and central bankers. This is going to be a rocky ride, and people who are experiencing a Bitcoin drawdown for the first time should know that this is just price volatility is not the really scary thing that's coming. The really scary thing that's coming is corporations and governments and central bankers attacking you because you own Bitcoin. But for now, over the past few days, what's been happening has been more like a light winter storm where the weak branches are being broken off of the tree and the weak hands are selling. So it looks more like something like this, where the strong branches are still holding on. The weak branches are being pruned by the weather. And this helps to make room in the spring for those branches that are really strong and that the tree can build on for its nutrition. This is one of the things that really attracted Stan Druckenmiller, who's a famous hedge fund manager, attracted him to Bitcoin. He talked to Paul Tudor Jones, and Paul Tudor Jones, who already owned Bitcoin, told him that during the last bear market, 2017, 2018, when Bitcoin went from 17,000 down to 3,000, that 86% of the people, or I guess the addresses that owned Bitcoin, that held it at 17,000, never sold. Stan Druckenmiller says, well, this was huge in my mind. So here's something with a finite supply, and 86% of the owners are religious zealots. And I think that's a fair characterization of really hardcore Bitcoiners and Bitcoin maximalists. How many altcoiners do you think are panic dumping their Solana, their Ethereum, their Cardano, XRP, all their DeFi tokens in order to get their sweaty palms on some reassuring dirty fiat dollars so they can sleep at night again? A lot of them are doing this, and in many cases this makes sense because these are protocols that are quite flawed and have the potential to even go down a lot from here. But I would say that we are not all the same. Bitcoiners are not the same. As I've said 1,000 times on this channel, if you've been following me over the past couple of years, I am never, ever selling my Bitcoin. I'm in this for my great-grandchildren 10 generations from now. And I would just ask you, how often do you hear things like that from altcoiners? You hear them from Bitcoiners all the time. And there have been Bitcoiners who've been through many more bear markets than I have. But even this being my first really big bear market, or appears to be a bear market, who even knows? I'm not trying to time these things, but this is how I think about Bitcoin. Whereas the other projects, there are going to be a lot of projects that are not going to survive this drawdown. They're going to look more like a tree like this that doesn't just take out itself, but takes out all the people who live around it. We're seeing similar things happen with Solana, which is continuing to break down. It's causing huge problems among DeFi traders. It's causing margin calls as people are getting liquidated and then they can't even execute anything on the Solana network. We're seeing this across the board. And I've been warning you that Solana really was a VC pump and dump. They were laughing as recently as November. As I show in this video, all the VCs who invested in it were laughing about how they were getting ready to sell on retail investors. Hopefully you were subscribed to my channel at this point and you saw this and you were able to get out of Solana before the giant crash. Insiders dumping their coins on you, though, really is a feature of the altcoin space. We now know that the Ethereum Foundation sold the top in Ethereum. They dumped a massive amount of Ethereum back in November of 2022. And you can see this tweet if you want to explore that more. One of the shocking things about Ethereum actually is how poorly it is done during the last bull market. in spite of all of the innovations around DeFi, some of which are pretty cool. The problem is they're built on chains like Solana and Ethereum, but DeFi is very interesting. NFTs, I don't think quite as interesting. This deflationary protocol, the EIP 1559, where the miners burn their transaction fees, and this is deflationary for the currency. In spite of all of these tricks, it's really interesting that none of this was able to get none of this was able to get Ethereum anywhere close to where it was in the 2017 and 2018 highs. What I'm looking at here is a chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, where I've taken out the US dollar. When Ethereum strengthens against Bitcoin, the chart goes up. When Ethereum weakens against Bitcoin, the chart goes down. Typically in bull markets, Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin, but then it crashes harder than Bitcoin during bear markets, as holders of Ethereum are finding out right now. But this is very interesting. In spite of all of this pumping of Ethereum, especially surrounding NFTs and DeFi, Ethereum was not even able to get anywhere close to the 2018 Ethereum Bitcoin highs, and this shows a lot of weakness under the surface, that even all this hype wasn't able to get Ethereum to hit a new high versus Bitcoin. We're seeing a lot of headlines like this, and I really want to put them into perspective. Bitcoin falling below 40,000, then falling below 35,000, and who knows where it will be when you watch this video. But this is, if you're going to be distracted by these kind of headlines, you really are one of the weak branches. These headlines have been written since 2014 and even earlier. Bitcoin falls below the $400 mark, down more than 60% from its all-time high. Well, how many of us would love to get Bitcoin at $400, or even at its all-time high from 2014 of $1,000 or $1,100 per coin? We saw this again back in 2018. Bitcoin falls below 4,000. And we will look back someday when Bitcoin is falling from 400,000 down to call it 200,000 or something like that. We will look back fondly on the days when you could still get Bitcoin for under $35,000. Austin Hill has a great tweet here. So funny that over the last 24 months, none of these news outlets were publishing articles saying like, U.S. government expands M2 money supply by 20%, printing $4 trillion, wiping out trillions of dollars in USD value. We are still so early in the mass education of real monetary policy. People who are dumping their Bitcoin for fiat dollars really don't understand Bitcoin. They don't understand Austin Hill's observation here, and they don't understand how Bitcoin is the life raft that protects you from inflation. It's the store of value that protects you against central bankers and their devaluation of fiat currencies by overprinting them. This is the long-term chart of the US dollar. If you're holding your wealth in fiat, this is what is going to happen to it. Of course, if you're holding it in Solana or Ethereum or XRP or Dogecoin, it might happen even more quickly. It's hard to say. But we are not all the same, and these coins are not all the same. And during these winter storms, we really begin to see which network can hold up, which network is highly fragile, which network has the really strong holders, and which network is basically comprised of insiders and then outside retail bag holders. I want you all to really scroll out and focus on this chart of Bitcoin. This is the chart of Bitcoin that matters. This is the log chart. It's a weekly log chart, logarithmic chart from 2011 to the present. This is the giant crash we're seeing right now. We can see from the perspective of what you might call eternity, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. We're in a sort of sideways movement here, even on the log chart. We've had sideways movement before, for example, in 2018 and 2019. And Bitcoin will recover from this, having lost its weak branches and having been strengthened by this winter storm. It remains to be seen whether DeFi can survive this, whether Solana can survive this, whether XRP and other trash coins can survive this. So if you understand Bitcoin, if you're a Bitcoiner, and if you're strong, hold on. These are the worst times, but these are the times where the real money is made. If you can afford to step up and buy more Bitcoin. My limit orders at 35,000 obviously were filled over the weekend, which was nice. I wasn't watching the market at all. I was traveling. And it's nice to be able to pick up some sats using limit orders in this way and not stress yourself out watching the price, Once you understand Bitcoin, the fiat price of Bitcoin becomes one of the least interesting features of Bitcoin. Though I will still strongly maintain we're going to see $100,000 Bitcoin, we're going to see $500,000 Bitcoin, we're going to see $1 million Bitcoin, and $10 million Bitcoin. I can't tell you exactly when that's going to be. I can't tell you where the bottom is going to be either, because this depends on the actions of central bankers, at least for this cycle. But I can tell you that Bitcoin is robust, it's anti-fragile, and resilient enough to be able to easily survive a crypto winter, a winter storm like this. So hodl on, stay strong, don't watch the price, and focus on just understanding Bitcoin. You can watch the hundreds of videos I have available for free on YouTube and continue your Bitcoin education, become a much stronger hodler in the process. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.